Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Meehan, alongside, as always, Mark Hoover, and welcome to NCM Sports Extra. We're a little over halfway through the winter season, and we're having a lot of success in our high school programs right now.
We were talking about that before we came on air with Mike Maloof back behind the scenes here, just how well, across the board, all of our winter sports teams have done so far. It's been an absolutely exciting start to the winter season.
We got a couple of them here tonight, and in just a minute, right after the open, John Longley is going to join Brian Dunn in studio to give us a little recap on all the sports. Let's get started. NCM Sports Extra starts right now.
Thanks, guys. Brian Dunn here, and I am joined by John Longley, athletic director, as always, we have on Sports Extra. So, John, this serves as our mid-season report, if you will.
Right.
So, up until this point, it sounds like we're at the midway mark with everybody. So, what is your assessment of the winter sports teams so far?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I mean, it's been, honestly, to this point, it's been an incredible winter season. We had a great winter last year, and so far this year has even been more successful. So the games have been, exciting. The kids have been doing great. We've been, getting great support from the community and the school. So we're really looking forward to the second half of the season and the tournaments. Some of the highlights so far, we actually are kind of technically in the schedule for most of the sports right through the midway. Some of the track is in a little bit of a different schedule, but girls basketball defeated Medfield last night, kind of avenged their early season loss to qualify for the tournament. They're 10-1, so they had a great year last year, and there was a lot of high expectations, and Coach Lepley and the girls have met those, so they're having a great year. And boys hockey has done really well, kind of following up from their fantastic season last year. They only have one loss. Their highlight of the season so far, they have a couple, their victory over Walpole, which is their first in 4 years on New Year's Eve day. And then they recently beat Medfield in a kind of a back and forth game last week. So they're 7-1-2. Girls hockey has had a successful season. They have a winning record. They were off today. I know the kids are excited to play at Warrior today. So the Hockeys have done well. Boys basketball has been up and down. They currently have a winning record. They're 6-5, and I know that they're pushing to continue to improve, and with hopes of qualifying for the tournament. So we have gymnastics, which I know we talked a lot about last year. They had such a fantastic season last year, qualified for the sectionals for the first time ever. They're having another good year. I believe they're 5-2 on the season. I'm going to actually get over to see them tonight against Medway. So we have a core of returning girls from last year's gymnastics team. Swim has picked up 2 TVL victories this year, and I know that they're looking for a couple more. They have a few meets left, and then they'll go on to their, sectional and state tournaments. And same thing with boys and girls track and field. The dual meet season has ended for both those teams, and we're kind of moved on into the individual season. We had the relays last weekend, and then next week will be the TVL championship. So I think, it's been great. We're looking forward to, the second half.
And this is good, too, because it works twofold, where you also serve as the girls track coach. So
Yep.
I can kind of pick your brain a little bit on what's going on around the team, not just for the girls side, but for the boys side, too. It seems like every season when we talk about track or cross country, we talk about Olivia Bidet,
Yep.
which she's a fantastic athlete. But a notable person that I follow, too, is Solomon King.
Yeah.
He was a 3-time medal winner in a recent meet. So
Yeah, the track programs have done really well. Indoors is particularly is a good season for us. So the boys had a great year. They were 3-1 and actually went to the last dual meet against Hopkinton. Technically was for the league championship. Hopkinton had a great team and beat us that day, but the boys track team was 1-4 indoors last year, and they just came right back, added a few pieces, got better, and they were competing right to the final dual meet for the league championship. Solomon King is one of the leaders on the team. He's a state qualifier. He's one of the fastest kids in the league. He's a member. Last spring we had a state championship boys 4x4 relay team in the spring that he was a part of, and we have another really good team this year. And the girls are, Olivia is a fantastic runner. She's one of the top, 5 distance runners, or top 3 in the league and in Division 4. She's had another fantastic season. She's going to be running the mile this weekend. But we also have a few other really quality, girls indoors. Sauda McLeod is going to qualify for the Division 4 meet in the 55 and the high jump. Caroline Davey in the 300. Both those are, 2 girls that are excellent sprinters. The track's a little bit different. The dual meet season ended a little bit early this year, and we went to the relays last weekend. This weekend is the state coaches meet, and then the following weekend is the TVL meet, and then there will be the Division 4 championship. So kind of, it changes over the course of the last the half of the season. The meets kind of change, but both programs have done really well.
And I think if you look at the past 3 seasons from the Bay State to the TVL switch, one thing I noticed, because producing the games and looking at the games as a bystander, is the crowds. The atmosphere has done really, really well the past couple of years. Do you think that's a testament to the recent success?
Yeah, I think people like to follow a winner, and when teams are a little bit more successful, it generates interest, and people want to support those teams. And I think Norwood as a whole supports the athletic program, and they want to get behind a team and show support. So we've always had we've had pockets of success over the years. Certain teams have gone on runs and things like that, and whenever a team starts to do well, the people will come out and support them. I mean, that's been the case really, since I've been here. Now with more teams doing well, you're getting to see, more people involved, more people supporting the teams, which is great. So,
from what you've heard from the coaches, what's sort of the big thing that they're stressing to their team to sort of finish the second half year strong? We mentioned that girls basketball is already in, but you look at teams like girls hockey, boys hoop, they're all looking to get in. Every team's looking to get in.
Right.
But what's the mentality for them?
Yeah, I think it's the midway point. I always meet with the coaches midway through each season. So I set up my meetings actually for next week, where we kind of review where they are and where they're going. And I know the winter becomes a long season. A lot of stuff is at night. So it's a little bit of a grind for the coaches and the kids. So kind of, pushing through, I think, would be kind of one of the challenges right now, kind of getting through that midpoint and putting the work in and the effort to get to where you want to be, around February vacation. So that's, I think just mentally at this stage, staying focused, continuing to improve, kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. I think that's probably a lot of what they're trying to emphasize, because if you kind of push through these times right now, when you're in the middle and things get kind of tough, there's things, there's success to be had, and later on. So we're kind of at that midpoint where you kind of grind through and see where you're at, which is good.
And it could be an exciting finish to the season. Well, John, thank you for always
Thanks,
coming in and
Brian.
taking
No
the
problem.
time,
Yeah.
especially since you are a newly crowned father.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
How
Yeah.
is the kid, by the way?
Baby's great, Lydia Jane. She's 11 weeks today, and she's healthy, and looking forward to, maybe getting her to a game by the end of the season. So, that'll be great. Thanks for asking.
Perfect. And back to you guys.
Hey, thanks very much, Brian. Appreciate it. And as John had mentioned, we've had a number of successful teams so far this winter, and I'm just proud to be joined by 4 members of our swim team. I've got, going down the line here, I've got senior captain Audrey Scafati, senior captain Bella Inzoda, junior Megan Sopel, and sophomore Jake Wilkinson. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for taking the time. First and foremost, congratulations on last night's win over Norton. Excellent. Takes us to 3-3 on the year. We were kind of talking before we came on air, and for folks that don't really kind of understand, I mean, we all know swim. We watch it on the Olympics, for example. But competitively and team-wise, how does a meet kind of work? What's the short version of how it works?
So I think basically every swimmer gets their own events, and you get up, you have 6 swimmers in a lane. They dive in, they swim to the other side, and basically the fastest person wins, and it just goes down the line and scores points for the team.
Okay, and the thing about swimming is that we also mentioned it's such an individual sport, but it's a team sport. We're all sitting here to combine times. So how does one, obviously if you win your race, you've won that race, but how does that then compile to figure out that Norwood beat Norton, for example, last night? How does that work?
So depending on your place, you earn a certain amount of points for your team. So that place gives you that points, which can raise the team's points and score you the points to win.
Gotcha. And so everyone swims, is that correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
mostly everyone
Okay.
swims.
Unless
All
you're a
right.
diver.
Yeah,
You're not a
divers.
diver.
That was going to be my next one, because I know it's kind of a combination. How does the dive portion work in the competition?
Well, normally, so it actually depends. Sometimes the time diving takes place changes. Most of the time it takes place in the middle of the meet. So we have our warm-up, we start the meet, and then after the 50,
Yeah, 50 race.
after the 50 freestyle, it's diving, and then we kind of sit, everyone has to be quiet, we watch diving. We have another warm-up,
Okay.
another little warm-up, and then the rest of the meet continues.
Gotcha. All right, so you kind of combine that in the middle, and then the total scores between the divers and the swimmers, and that's how we get our
Yeah.
winner, right? And so last night we were able to get more points than Norton.
Yeah, we did.
There we go. Excellent, excellent. I'll start kind of with the seniors. Coming into this year, what were your expectations for the year for the swim team?
Well, Bella and I, we've been swimming together since
Yeah.
we were like little kids. So
Yeah.
we've had like certain team environments that we've loved a lot, and certain team environments that we've kind of not wanted to have for the team. So this year we set out with a goal, like kind of just to have like a unified team, kind of more like a family.
Yeah.
And yeah, just so yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's definitely one of our goals when we went into the season was having that unified team. And swim can be such an individual sport that we wanted to make sure that people didn't forget the team aspect and
Right.
didn't forget how to support each other and build each other up.
Yeah,
in
because like I
those
said,
times.
that's the part about it. You're looking for your best times, and yet at the same time, obviously, you want to have the team as a whole do well. So, Megan, to you, take us through some of the team highlights this year. What I know what our record is, but what have been some of the highlights?
So some of the highlights are we qualified the girls medley, the 200 freestyle, and the 400 freestyle. So they're all going to sectionals and states.
Excellent.
And then Hannah Abrams, a freshman, has qualified in almost every single event for both sectionals and states.
Wow.
And then Maddie O'Keefe qualified in her 500.
Wow.
So there's
so
a
it's
lot.
been especially, and you're seniors, so you might miss out on some of those freshmen coming up. But I mean, it bodes well, as it will for the program, going forward. Jake, down to you. In terms of the strengths of this team, you're a sophomore, so you're in your second year now, I assume, swimming for the high school.
Yeah.
In your 2 years, what do you see some of the strengths of the swim team?
I mean, I really think some of our strengths is that no matter what event people get put in, they might complain about it, but they really do give it their all.
Right.
No matter what the outcome may be or the stakes may be against them or for them. People, they dive in, they give it their all. They know that they gave it their all. The coaches know that they gave it their all. And I really think that like sense of versatility really separates us from a lot of other people and a lot of other teams.
Yeah. Now, if you have divers, do they also swim? I mean, do you have some crossover on
Yeah,
that?
definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
There
Okay.
definitely is.
In terms of individual, I mean, I know that we talk team, and I'll kind of go down the line. Aubrey, I'll start with you. Individually, what is your event, and what do you do to kind of work on improving those times?
My main event that I like to focus on is my 100 backstroke. I've kind of liked backstroke ever since I was little. And then freshman year, they kind of just started sticking me in that. I guess it's kind of been a thing ever since. So my 100 backstroke, I've been slowly decreasing my time since the beginning of the season. And now I'm around at 1 minute, 15 seconds for my 100 backstroke, which is really cool.
Yeah, good for you. Down to the next. What is your event that you are, I guess I'll use the word known for? I mean, do you kind of before I get to maybe just kind of a question, do you guys swap events? I mean, you might
Oh,
do
all
back
the time.
All the
okay.
time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the
Oh
time.
my God.
Gotcha. So you have to know how to do everything. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I swam once, and I just remember that butterfly is just the worst. I don't know
yeah,
who
it is.
Jake
It's
says
super
butterfly.
That's insane.
It's
I
fun.
don't. Who you like it?
Yeah.
I don't know who would actually like that swim.
Not a lot, not a lot of people do.
No,
but, yeah,
no, I wouldn't think so.
surprisingly. Yeah.
So, but in terms of your strength, then, what is your main event?
So my main event kind of flops between the 50 free, 100 freestyle, or like Audrey, the 100 back. And I think mainly this season I've worked a lot on decreasing my times and kind of getting as low as I possibly can to get that first place win and to score
Right.
the most points.
Yeah. Megan?
I do a lot of freestyle,
Yep.
so I'm part of like the 3 relays that's qualified for states and sectionals, and then I swim the 50 and the 500, and I'm close to qualifying in both of those.
And I want to ask a little bit, just a little bit about the states, but when you say you're close to qualifying, what does one need to do in order to qualify?
So basically, there's a set of times that are listed out at the beginning of the season, and so for the 500, it's a 5:54, and so right now I'm at a 5:59. So like it's 20 laps. So basically throughout the 20
That's
laps,
too much
I have
swimming.
to like lose 4 seconds in order to make it to the states meet.
Yeah. It's funny, people might think 4 seconds, but in swimming,
No, it's a
that's,
lot.
that is a lot,
It
that's a
comes
lot to
down.
try to cut off.
Yeah. So like in the 50, the time's a 27:15, and I've gone like a 27:2.
Yeah.
And like in my head, that's so much.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like a regular person, they just see it's like, oh,
I'm like, oh,
right
come
there.
on, how tough can that be, right? But yeah,
Exactly.
it is a lot. And finally down to you, Jake, is it the butterfly?
So,
is that-
so it's been kind of an adventure trying to find my main event. Last
Right.
year, I did a lot of distance swimming, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. So I switched over this year to mid distance. So I do the 200 IM, the 100 butterfly, and the 100 freestyle mostly.
Okay.
And I've been kind of chipping away at those times this season, and I recently got my best time on the 100 free. So
Outstanding.
it's
Good.
working.
Yeah, because you can kind of, the more work anybody puts into something, you can start to see results. And I would suspect swimming, especially if you're trying, it's such a timed thing that you can kind of see where you can see your improvement,
Yeah.
which has
Yeah.
got to be kind of, again, something to strive for. 2 meets left?
Yes.
2 meets left.
Yeah.
Westwood and Medfield, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
2 good programs.
Really.
Really good programs. To the seniors, because as you're kind of wrapping up this whole thing, what do you think you kind of need to all come together as a team to take care of these guys?
Well,
Swim fast.
we're actually a really similar team to Westwood. Like if you look at our times side by side, like they have, like the coach was telling us, they have a U on each of the team.
Right.
So like, for Westwood, I don't know.
Yeah,
just-
for Westwood, it's one of those things where it's really going to come down to those little things like, out touching the other person
Yeah.
and just, like Jake said, just doing what we always do and just getting in, give it everything you have for that race and just out touch them and
Right.
get that place before
Right.
they do.
And so that's got to be kind of exciting. So hopefully we'll wind up 5 and 3. We'll have those, take care of those kids from Westwood and Medfield. And then you would talk about going on afterwards for those that qualify. I know that you have already in
Yes.
some events, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Then what would that entail?
Okay, so basically a select group of us move on to the postseason. So the rest of the team is done. And I think there's 4 of us right now. We just practice by ourselves. Then we have our sectionals meet at MIT. And then we have another week of practice and then a states meet. So like everyone in the state from our division at BU.
Okay. So if you do sectionals, do you have to qualify then for states?
Yes, they're 2
All right.
separate times.
Gotcha. Okay. And so in addition to team practice, are you then also doing stuff individually? Or?
Yeah, so I do club swim along with a lot of the other postseason people, and it just helps a lot because we're giving such limited pool time since
Yeah.
we do share a pool with Westwood.
Right.
So every little bit counts.
I don't blame you. Well, best of luck.
Thank
I
you.
think that's fantastic. And I'll finish up. Kind of going to do it this way. Seniors, a couple meets left,
Yeah.
probably in your high school career. Looking back, if you had to pick like the moment or the
God.
is there anything? Maybe there isn't. Maybe the whole thing's been great. But is there anything that stands out? You're like, oh, that was awesome. Ooh, put him on the spot. It's been all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
think.
it's definitely, it's been a long
tough,
4
isn't it? Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But it's been really good.
Heading off next year to schools. Any plans on swimming still? To the extent
I
you
think that my swim career is going to end in high school.
can? Except for the ocean and the.
But like if I ever have an opportunity to like swim in a pool, I'm like,
Yeah.
sure.
Why
sure,
not?
I'll
Why
do a
not?
couple laps.
Come visit us.
Well then, yeah. I mean, we talk about the juniors and the sophomores, so you guys are kind of filling that void here
Yes.
from the seniors next
Big
year.
void.
What do you guys foresee going forward for the program? I mean, in terms of what you need to do to continue to keep the program growing.
I think it's going to be a pretty strong program. We have a lot of really, really strong underclassmen. And I think we just need to keep working hard. I don't know about you.
I mean, honestly, Megan is right. We do need to keep working hard in the
Yeah.
pool and outside of the pool during the off season.
Right.
I know that the coaches are very nitpicky about what they want me to do this year, and
They want to bring out the best in
truth
you.
be- They are right.
Yeah.
We need to keep working hard. You know,
Yep.
like a lot of people just think swim team. It's like, oh, you dive in and you go. That's not
Splash out.
how it is.
No.
It's
No,
not.
no.
You have to work hard, and the times that you get are a product of that work, and you truly do have to take it seriously when it comes down to it. And I think as long as we all kind of keep somewhat of that mentality while still being able to have fun, we're going to perform
Yeah.
continuing on for who knows how long.
Well, it's been very exciting to see how well you guys have done this year and over the course of your careers. Congratulations to all four of you
Thank
on the
you.
season
Thank
so
you,
far.
thank you.
Best of luck in sectionals and
Thank
states,
you.
and bring back some sort of big trophy
Oh,
and
yeah.
gold medals and stuff like that. So go get them for the next two, right?
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
take
we
care
will.
of them.
Sure.
All
We're
right.
gonna do
All
it.
right. Listen, thanks again so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure meeting all
Thank
four
you.
of you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Us.
Members of our 3-and-3 swim team ready to win their next two.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
If you want to know what happened in Norwood this week, watch Norwood News.
On Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
If you want to meet the people who make the town tick, watch Your Town at Work, hosted by Jerry Slater. On the latest episode, Jerry heads up to Norwood High School and interviews Kristen McDonald and Lisa Colosimo. Kristen is the Director of Guidance and walks us through the daily routine of her department. She is also in her first year as the head coach for the boys basketball team, and you'll learn the difference of coaching boys and girls. Also on the show, you'll meet Lisa Colosimo, who is secretary to the principal. She is the first face you'll see when you enter the high school, and as a graduate of NHS, she is proud to be back. Tune in to the latest episode of Your Town at Work, hosted by Jerry Slater. Only on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
The Norwood Senior Center's mission is to identify the needs and promote services for older adults. The center is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and during the summer they remain open until 8 p.m. on Tuesday evenings. To contact them, call 781-762-1201 or visit www.norwoodma.gov.
Well, I'm joined now by another team that's had a successful start to the winter season and is actually more than 3/4 of the way through their season. It's wrestling with head coach Billy McDermott and junior captain Ryan Sue and senior captain Joe Phillips. Guys, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So you guys are 12-7 so far, including 2-2 in the TVL. Coach, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick little recap of how the season has been so far.
We came out pretty good, 4-0 for the start. The league win against Bellingham at the beginning, which was nice. As our season goes on, we get a little bit more competitive. We had a winter holiday tournament with these guys. They did well. They got like 27th out of 32 teams, which is a compliment to the guys. We're still young. Ryan and Joe have been good leaders for the team. We've been doing pretty good right now. It's just every time we come home, we talk to Coach Camposano, Coach Jameson about how we can fix ourselves, get better. Ryan's dad's been good recording our matches so we can visually see how we're doing as a team, and that's given us a lot of success so far.
So what was the experience level of the team coming into the season, and kind of with that, what were your expectations?
We have one gap out of 14 weight classes. We cover 13, so we thought we were going to have that fulfilled, but we didn't. So we've been working individually with most of the guys, and Ryan, Joe, handful of guys have experience coming back. So over the years, we're getting more competitive with teams. We have a junior high program coming through, which should help us. And just having these older guys in the mat, helping the new guys, it's key, just terminology and things like that.
So now, looking down kind of the wrestling standings, not all of the TVL has a wrestling program necessarily. So most of your matches are actually tri and quad meets, and most of them actually are on the road from what I've noticed.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about that scheduling and kind of how playing so many out of conference plays into the season.
After like our 4th year, we've been moving around from quad to quad, trying to find out where we fit. And we try to find tough teams and some mediocre like us, around the 500 range. And we're getting there. I think maybe 2 more years we'll finally have a schedule where it's a custom for us and gives us good competition.
So now individually, going over to you guys, Ryan, you're 21-4 from what I've been told at 195 pounds, and Joe, you're 16-11 at 220. So 2 solid records individually. Coach talked a little bit about the team portion of the expectations coming into the year. Individually, what did you guys have for goals and expectations?
Well, last year I took 3rd in the section, 8th at states. So my goal this year is to win the section, take top 4 at states.
Wow, that's awesome. How about you?
My goal for this year was to win the section and to go, I think, 800 on the year. So.
Now, what does it take to qualify individually for the section and then for the states?
At sectionals, you have to place 4th or higher to wrestle at states. At states, you have to, I think, place top 6 to wrestle at all states.
Correct. Okay. So you guys, as Coach mentioned, you start with a sweep at a quad meet, and you crush Bellingham in a home match. So how important, confidence-wise, was it for you guys to get off to a fast start like that?
That was awesome, I think. Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah, it's good to have a confidence boost at the beginning of the season.
So Coach touched on it a little bit too. Talk to us a little bit about that Marshfield Holiday Tournament. So it looks like it took place over multiple days. So how many schools, athletes from each team, all that, anything you can give us on that?
Yeah, it was, I think, the 27th and 28th. I think there were 37 teams there. So that's like, with forfeits, that's usually like a 32, 33-man bracket. Yeah, I think I took 5th. Joe, what'd you take?
I took 11th of a full bracket.
So that's awesome. So, I mean, even though it sounded like team-wise you guys were sort of towards the bottom, you had some individuals who really stepped it up big time.
Match from match. You got to watch the last competition to see where you're going to line up with the other guy. So they take it 1 match at a time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the other day, too, you guys beat Dedham 45-13, which, if you don't know the history of the recent history of the wrestling program, it would be exciting, but it wouldn't necessarily sound like a huge deal, but it's been a long time coming. Kind of give us a little bit of background on that.
Well, I was coaching for a while. The closest we got was 42-42, was pin for pin. And this year, we had a funny feeling we were going to do well. As I said, Coach Camp, he likes to look online and look at the scores, and he's seeing comparables. And we thought we had it, and after having that trophy being not our way for the last 4 years, finally getting it was bittersweet for us.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about what it's the Gregory Police Trophy, is that what it's called? So what's the history on that, and when did that start?
Bruce Gregory just got into the Hall of Fame for Norwood, was a very high-credentialed coach for Norwood, and the same for James Police. He was there in like the mid-'80s and the '70s, and one passed away, and they were legendary. They were good coaches, they had good wrestlers, so they kind of brought a rivalry at the new league, trying to bring a rivalry for us again, and it's been fun so far for both teams.
That's awesome. So going into it, so you guys obviously haven't been a part of the last 12 years where we've been trying to beat Dedham, but I mean, did you guys know the history of this kind of hump that we've been trying to get over, beating Dedham, or how much knowledge did you guys have going into it?
Yeah, I mean, every year we know that Dedham's going to be good. They're going to be a challenge. We know that they've been better than us for a long time. I think the last time we beat them was when Coach Camposano was a senior in high school. So, yeah, it was just a real challenge for us to beat them.
Yeah, every year, say Dedham's the biggest match of the year. So.
So now looking ahead to the rest of the season, you guys still have 8 opponents on the schedule. I guess I'll ask you guys first. How are we feeling about the rest of the season, team-wise?
Well,
pretty good.
Do we know much about our upcoming opponents, or
Not
outside
really.
of
a lot
the
of
league?
them.
No.
A lot of them are far away.
Yeah.
So I don't really know much about too many of them, but.
Coach,
We
would you
have
agree?
a game plan right now. Coach Camposano's looking at the scores right now. He's getting the comparables, but finishing above 500 is our goal since the beginning of the season. After last year being 13-10,
Yep.
I think just everybody focuses on what they have to do in the match, and we should have a lot of success staying off your back, knowing to keep him on his back, and
Yep.
get some points when you need them. But little things like that, I think we'll be fine.
Well, that's awesome. Well, best of luck to you guys the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll check in with some sectional titles.
Absolutely,
and maybe some
absolutely.
state runs.
Yeah.
So we're going to toss it quickly to an NHS TV project that highlights the Marathon Sports weight room program.
I grew up pretty much playing sports my whole life, even as a kid. So I kind of just grew up in a coaching household, and then eventually just kind of fell in love with not just sports, but kind of like the training behind it. So I kind of built a passion for it. I like the athletes a lot. I think a lot of the kids have a passion for their sport and have a good mentality and always go into the game thinking they're going to win.
Weighted planks, benching, he has every single workout we need, and Kevin's just like, I'd run through a brick wall for that guy because he gets me in shape.
It's fun. It's fun coming in the weight room and working out, especially when the kids are really into it. It doesn't even feel like work. Just seeing the kids improve athletically and just become better at their sport through, whether it's getting stronger on their squat or increasing their bench press. It's fun to see the overall athletic development of them.
Well, he designs our workouts. I honestly couldn't have asked for a better inspiration, brother, to be my coach in the weight room.
Knew that he was going to get me in the best shape of my life. He had a plan for every single kid, He find workouts for everyone, and that's why just Kevin's the best.
Even behind the scenes, I'm doing a lot of work programming when I'm at home or even back in the PT clinic. But aside from that, it really is a full-time job. Even when I go home, I'm reading books, looking up kind of the latest research, always continually trying to improve myself as a coach and just learn as much as I can.
The Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation was established in 1998 in memory of Michelle Kennedy, a young Norwood resident who suffered with leukemia. During Michelle's battle, the entire Norwood community, many of whom did not know Michelle, joined together to support her in her time of need, and it is in that spirit the Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation continues. The mission of the foundation is to provide assistance to Norwood residents who are in need due to a catastrophic medical occurrence. The Circle of Hope Foundation aims to alleviate the stress of everyday expenses for Norwood families during their time of need. Over the years, their assistance has covered housing expenses, utilities, food, and various medical expenses. The Circle of Hope relies on referrals and direct requests to find those in need. If you know of a Norwood resident who needs assistance, or if you are a resident who needs some yourself, please call the Norwood Circle of Hope at 781-762-3549. or write to the Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation, P.O. Box 421, Norwood, Massachusetts 02062. To learn more about
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We were saying you're
You're a 2016 grad here of the high school, and currently running for Stonehill. And before we kind of get to your collegiate career, I want to ask you just a little bit about, how did you get into track and into running?
So I actually started track as my second sport. I was doing gymnastics for my whole life under Karen Broderick at Broderick Gymnastics Academy. And I did high school gymnastics with her as well. And so we were doing gymnastics at Broderick's. So I was always at Broderick Gymnastics, and I didn't really feel a part of the Norwood High community. All my friends were playing field hockey, soccer, and then ice hockey. And I just wanted to feel a part of the community. So I decided, people have said I'm fast. My twin brother, Declan, he's fast as well. So I just decided, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And then I was kind of good at it, so I stuck with it.
And it's funny because we've been talking about the success of the recent success here of our track teams. There's the distance component to it and the sprint component to it. You gravitated towards the sprint, and what was it about that aspect of track that attracted you? Why was it sprint?
So in gymnastics, my best event was vault, and so that's when you're just running as fast as you can towards a stationary object. And I just kind of got out there one day, and my coach put me in the 200, and Coach Booth, he was there at the time, and he was like, that's going to be your event. And then I just kind of stuck with it. And then after that, I was put on the relay team with Jessica Murphy. She was there at the time, and so there was just us two, and we were sprinting away. Yeah.
Well, you when you started, you had some success very early on here as a sophomore, making a Bay State honorable mention, and then by the time your senior year rolls around, you're part of the 4x100 that ties the school record and a Bay State All-Star. Tying that record, what kind of feeling does that give one when you tie a school record there as part of a relay team?
Yeah, that was really exciting because often at track, there's not as many the team success where people are, you go out, you win a game. So it's kind of hard to compare that feeling. But having 4 girls, it was my friend Hafsa McLeod, Fiona Jordan, and Amber Chisholm, and all 4 of us were just so proud of ourselves. And I remember being at Westfield State and just coming through the finish line, and our coach was so excited for us. So it was really nice to kind of show everybody in the school that track is fun and you can be very successful with it.
Yeah, and it's a great way to cap off a senior season. At what point did you kind of realize that you might be able to run track at the next level, at the collegiate level?
It was definitely my sophomore year of high school. I actually sat down with my coach, Karen Broderick, and I was deciding about whether I would do indoor track or winter gymnastics. And realistically, in terms of post high school and being on a collegiate team, she thought I would be better suited for the track. And so I was really torn because gymnastics was my first love, and I loved doing that my whole life. And I honestly, the signups were for the winter sports, and I signed up the last minute. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my parents. I just signed up for track, and then I showed up the next day. So it was kind of my sophomore year because colleges, they like to see that you run indoor and outdoor.
Yeah. Okay. So off you go to Stonehill, and you start running at Stonehill. What would you say helped that transition from high school to college track?
Mm-hmm. I was really fortunate enough to have a coach outside of Norwood as well, who I did strength training and all that kind of stuff. So I really think being prepared for being in the weight room and being stronger was a good bonus for me. But really, there's kind of no way to really prepare yourself until you get thrown into it, because when you go to college, the workouts really, everyone's bigger, stronger, faster. The workouts are a lot harder. So it's just kind of being mentally prepared to be kind of in a new environment.
Yeah, you kind of segued right in nicely to my next kind of area. Was what did you see to be the big differences between running at the college level versus running here for the high school?
Well, from day one, every girl, you kind of know who everyone is and you can look up their times, but everybody essentially on your team was like the best person from their high school team.
Right.
So you go from being the stud of your high school and then you come to college and everyone is just as good as you or even a little bit better.
Yeah.
So the workouts become that much harder. The pace is so much faster. So you just kind of have to hold your own and like really just trust yourself that you can do it.
Yeah. And I would think something like that, especially as a competitive athlete at that level now, your teammates are going to kind of push each other because you, like you said, you're going up against the best of the best, and so you guys kind of push each other to get better.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And it's really nice to actually have that because a lot of times in high school, I'd be running workouts kind of on my own, and it feels so much better to have your girls beside you, like pushing each other, and we all want to see each other do better because essentially we're all on the team and we're all fighting for the same championship.
Yeah. We had members of the swim team in here earlier tonight, and you kind of track is kind of the same thing in swim in terms of there's an individual component to it, and yet, so you are looking for your times as maybe part of the 4x100, but you're also looking obviously as a total team for the Stonehill, because you're having team meets. What kind of area did you know going into Stonehill you were going to focus on? I mean, I'm assuming continuing with a sprint, but did you know you were going to have a specialty going to Stonehill?
I knew that I was a short sprinter going in, so that's primarily the 60-meter dash, the 100, and the 200. And so I've just kind of stuck with that. And I've also had the opportunity to be on the 4x1 team. But kind of like in Norwood, I was automatically on the 4x1 team. But coming in my freshman year, I was actually the first alternate for the 4x1. So it was kind of just a reality shock because I wasn't automatically going to have that spot. But eventually I did earn my spot on the team. But it's kind of more about proving yourself and just doing the same thing over and over.
And that 4x100 team, as I understand it, you've been very successful at that in terms of all conference honors, all East region for the 2017-2018 season. To go from an alternate to that kind of all conference honors, what kind of work does it take collectively on 4x100s to raise your level that much?
It's really just practicing every day. Like you come to practice and there's really no time to be slacking off. Every day is, my coach always says, every day is a new day to prove yourself. So you have to come to practice to be ready. And I was given I'm the first leg of the 4x1. So that was really amazing because you set the tone for the relay and there's just a lot of responsibility because you're the one who has to get the relay going. So I'm just like really proud of myself that I was able to be on that team because that was one of my goals coming in as a freshman.
And I understand, your indoor, outdoor track and cross country teams at Stonehill have done fairly well since you got there in 2016. Would you care to, toot your own Stonehill horn in terms of how well the track teams have done there since you've been there?
Yes. So kind of one of the reasons when I was going through the recruiting process was the success of the team. And it was really important for me to be on a team that was all excited about track and that was all in and wanting to win. So my freshman year, it was really exciting because our cross country team, they won the Northeast Conference Championship, and then we won indoors and outdoor track as well. And so it was just really exciting to be a part of that because coming from Norwood where it was more individual based for me, I now finally got to see how track and field comes together as a whole team. Our throwers are amazing, our jumpers, high jumpers, pole vaulters, distance crew, sprints. So it was really just nice to see everything come together. And so last year, our senior class, they graduated undefeated, never have losing an NE10 championship. So right now, we're one down cross country. They won in the fall, and now so we're going for our indoor and outdoor one. So I'm hoping to follow in the footsteps of the seniors last year and graduating undefeated, which would be
yeah. Now, and along those lines, as I understand, you've got something the Terrier Classic coming up, and up to the Southern Maine Open. Is that coming up this weekend?
Yes.
Yep. So what, take us, just real quickly, what do you have to do to prep for something like the Terrier Open in Boston and then be ready to go up to Maine, basically the next day?
So it's just another opportunity to compete, and especially in track and field, we have a lot of 2-day meets where you go back to back. So you'll have maybe trials on Friday and then finals on Saturday. So really it's just practice. Like it's game day. So you're just going out and doing everything that you've been doing in practice. To be honest, I really try not to think about it. You just wake up and run and then see what you do. But your week leads you right up to competition. So I'm really excited.
Excellent. Well, listen, I would be remiss in not mentioning, in terms of the academic honor rolls that you have been on since you've been at Stonehill. I think that is so impressive for the student athlete. And quickly, how do you find that balance? You talk about all the workouts and all the strength training you need to do and carry a full caseload and still make the honor roll. How do you find that balance?
Yeah, to be very honest, it is difficult. Kind of every semester, my teammates and I, we always look back and we're like, how did we get through that? But it's just really being determined and doing what I've kind of always done. I've been very fortunate to have amazing parents and then amazing teachers, even at Norwood, and amazing professors here to always help me. I wouldn't be able to do it without the support, especially of my mom and dad, who are always there for me, just supporting me throughout everything. But it is challenging, but we get through it, and it feels good when it's kind of over and the semester's done. But our team also, we take a lot of pride in our team GPA, and we are the highest team GPA for all the women's programs. So it's something that we really take a lot of pride in.
That's great, and you should. It's not an easy thing to carry college credits and like that, and throw on a full-time sport as well. So congratulations on that. I think that really speaks volumes to your work ethic. That's fantastic. Listen, best of luck in the upcoming meets as you kind of wrap up your career. You're probably looking back and go, how quick it's gone. I would imagine, huh?
I know, it really does go in the blink of an eye.
It does. Oh yeah. Wait, pretty soon you'll be our age, and it's But enjoy college, enjoy the rest of it. But again, congratulations, best of luck for the rest of the season, and best of luck as you wrap up your career.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience while we get you hooked up. Enjoy the rest of the night.
No problem.
All right, take care. Sinead O'Brien joining us live from Stonehill College, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
The Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation was established in 1998 in memory of Michelle Kennedy, a young Norwood resident who suffered with leukemia. During Michelle's battle, the entire Norwood community, many of whom did not know Michelle, joined together to support her in her time of need, and it is in that spirit the Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation continues. The mission of the foundation is to provide assistance to Norwood residents who are in need due to a catastrophic medical occurrence. The Circle of Hope Foundation aims to alleviate the stress of everyday expenses for Norwood families during their time of need. Over the years, their assistance has covered housing expenses, utilities, food, and various medical expenses. The Circle of Hope relies on referrals and direct requests to find those in need. If you know of a Norwood resident who needs assistance, or if you are a resident who needs some yourself, please call the Norwood Circle of Hope at 781-762-3549. Or write to the Norwood Circle of Hope Foundation, P.O. Box 421, Norwood, Massachusetts 02062. To learn more about the Circle of Hope or to get involved, visit norwoodcoh.org.
Well, privileged this evening to be joined in studio by assistant basketball coach and head freshman boys basketball coach, Mr. Joe Meehan. Sir, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Appreciate you coming all the way over from the couch over there. Real quick, we wanted to kind of touch base on some of the boys basketball this year.
Yeah.
We know how strong the boys started out. So take us through kind of like the beginning of the season. We've kind of hit a little road bump, but tell us a little bit about the start of the season.
Yeah, we got off to a real hot start on varsity. 5-1, jumped out of the gate. Exciting win opening night against Dover Sherburne, who was the defending state champions from Division III. And then an exciting game against Walpole, who's always great to beat. Yeah. Beat them by 3. 5-1 to start. hit a little bit of a bump over the last couple of games. We're 1-5 since then, so 6-6 heading into the home stretch. But a couple pretty winnable games that I feel like we should hopefully propel us into the tournament. One thing we've learned in the TVL is anybody can be beaten on any given night. Sometimes you look down the scores and it's like, really, they beat them?
Yeah.
So we're just hopeful to get to that 10-win mark and get into the tournament.
What do you think, you know, like you said, you start out strong, and teams go through this. They go through streaks and stuff like that. And so sometimes when you're kind of on the other end, when it's kind of a tougher stretch, what do you as a coaching staff, you know, try to do to kind of get these boys turned back towards that winning ways that you had at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, one of the things that Christian McDonald, who's the head coach, has done really well is after we got off to that hot start, it's really easy to kind of get excited and maybe think that we're a little bit better than we are. So it's just consistently in practice, just focusing on, it sounds simple, but just focusing on the basic stuff and making sure that we don't lose some of those fundamentals and we don't kind of get too high or too low. So it's just been a lot of that, just trying to build up. It sounds cliche, but focusing on those basics every single day and make sure that we don't kind of lose sight of the big picture.
You know, and we had talked before we came on air in terms of your upcoming schedule. Like you said, it looks kind of tough. I mean, you got your work cut out for you. What kind of, again, I kind of come back more towards the coaching side. You know, you as a coach, what do you kind of start to preach? You know, if they look at the schedule and go, ooh, oh boy, that's a tough team. How do you try to get them to say, look, don't, again, any given night? I mean, how do you work on that?
Yeah, so a lot of it, I mean, we kind of focus on the matchups. So some of the teams that are above us in the standings, we show them on paper, like scouting reports, say, hey, I mean, yeah, they've beaten this team, but we have this size, or we play this style that they necessarily don't match up well with. So it's really focusing not so much on what they've done against other teams and did we beat them and did they beat them. It's more, do we match up well with them, and what can we do as a coaching staff, game plan wise, to kind of put us in the best place to beat whoever it is.
You know, and I know that Coach O'Donnell didn't want to talk about you know the fact that, you know, we've got a woman coach here. Coaching under her as one of her assistants, what has that been like? Because I mean, I was at a gym once, and just watching her intensity and her knowledge of the game is amazing.
It's incredible, honestly. I mean, just for a small example, just being in a timeout and seeing how calm she is, just because I know from coaching, just like drawing up a play and having something come to you that quickly. And I mean, we'll have back-to-back timeouts, and she's got something ready for every situation. And it's just her knowledge of the game and how much she's seen, both from being a player and from coaching for so long at Braintree. It's awesome to work under. And
I can imagine. From. Yeah, it must be great. And speaking of, you know, maybe, you know, things that you can take, you know, from because I know coaches help each other out all the time. So as the head coach of the boys freshman team, you know, tell us a little bit about that. You know, how are they doing? Because that, you know, that's the folks that are coming up the pipeline. How's freshmen going this year?
Yeah, the freshmen, it's a talented group. We're off to a 7-2 start, and that's with 2 of our freshmen playing up at JV. So we're really excited about this freshman class. It's been a couple good years in a row, which is awesome for the depth of the program. But Christian kind of gives us the freedom to do what we see fit with our group. So there's some like offensive stuff that I take from her just so they know it if anybody gets called up. But then there's some of our own stuff that we mix in based on the personnel that we have. So it's nice. And I mean, we're real excited. We have 16 on varsity, 14 on JV, and 13 on freshmen, just because we had so many numbers at tryouts and just so many kids we felt like we couldn't cut, which is awesome for the future.
As they say, it's kind of a nice problem to have.
It is,
right? You'd rather have those numbers, but you know, I think it's been, as we kind of started the show, and we'll kind of wrap up the show, you know, in terms of how well all of the teams have done, and it's just been kind of exciting to see, you know, again, all the work that you guys are doing with the basketball team is just great
I
stuff.
mean, it's awesome. Like at 6-6, sometimes in years past, that would have been like the highlight of the winter season, and now we're almost towards the lower level. So I mean, just even the teams we had here tonight, wrestling has been consistently good. It's swimming's getting wins. It's just girls basketball 10-1. They already clinched the tournament berth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's been an awesome time to be around athletics here.
It really has. It really has, and we get to be part of it.
I know. It's
you
great.
Know, hey, isn't it fun? Yeah, we'll take all the
I get
credit.
to see it from both sides. I get to sit on the bench and watch the varsity games, and then I get to interview all the successful athletes here. So it's great.
That's right. Mr. Meehan, thank you so much for coming in
Of
this
course.
evening. We really appreciate you taking the time to pinch hit here as we talk about the boys basketball program. So I think that's going to do it for us for tonight.
That wraps us up. Flew by as always.
It always does. It always does.
So we will see you at the end of the winter season, hopefully with some good success stories from tournament runs, both individually and on the team level. For Mark Hoover, I'm Joe Meehan. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a great night.